Nice to catch up with you. It's not been the weekend to remember, of course, but you've got to put that behind you. But it doesn't go away. I'm pretty sure you've already started your preparations for Swindon. What have you done with your players so far?
I've had a chat with a few of them. We're just about to go through the video. Then we'll do some training in preparation for tomorrow.
I think it just highlights what all football managers say every week, really, is when you're on a high, don't get too high. And when you're on a low, don't get too low. And if you look at your last 5 games, everybody thought it was Rosie and the Gardeners. You should imagine the followers of Crewe, wins against Peterborough and Oxford, but now 3 defeats in a row. And that quickly tells you that story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Don't get carried away or too big for your boots when you've won 1 or 2 or 3, 4 games. And don't spiral into depression if you lose a couple as well. So we're on an even keel at this football club. We can't condone losing games. It's part of the game. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it to happen. The good thing is there's plenty of games. And they're coming around thick and fast. We've got to make sure that any result doesn't impact on the win or lose, really. Impacts our thoughts going into the next one. There's no point going into a game having won, going, this is all right now because we won the last one. It's another game, another challenge. Like, conversely, you can't go into a game where you've just lost going, oh, well, we're going to lose. Because that's not the right mentality either. So, new day, new challenge, new opponent tomorrow. We go again.
I know you won't use this as an excuse, but you have been that professional footballer. You know what it takes out of your body and what you have to put into it. And it has changed completely this particular season. But physically and mentally, do you think it's having a little bit of toll now of trying to get themselves up, especially no fans at the moment as well, for those 2 games in 3 days?
It's definitely taking its toll on every single footballer. You can see that. You can definitely see that. But then, like I say, it's not an excuse. It's the same for everyone. And the best teams, best prepared teams, both physically and mentally, get through it better. It's as simple as that. And that's the challenge. That's one of our big challenges this season as a group of staff and obviously the players, is to make sure you can I say motivate yourself. It's not the right word. You've got to make sure you are prepared for the challenges that are coming around often, which is probably not happened in their career at any point, not to this extent. So it's a new challenge for them all, and the best prepared ones and the mentally resilient ones will get through it better.
It is a weekend that has been on a downward thing, because what you would have loved, the incentive was to be in the 3rd round of the FA Cup in the new year, halfway in League One, going into a Christmas programme. It's not a hectic Christmas programme because it's a similar programme that you've already started about 2.5 months ago. On the positive side, again, we're talking about, and you would have watched it before your players have watched it again, the amount of chances that you're creating are there. You've got to just show the some clinical side to finish them, because even Saturday, they were there to be scored and game won for you.
Yeah, I don't think as much as in previous games. You're right. It's an area we need to improve in, and it's not just the striker. It's Port scored and Mika's been scoring. We're after goals from every position, and that's not going to change. Whether that be a centre half, a fullback, any of the midfielders, wide forwards, call it what you will. We've got to make sure that we have goals from all over the pitch. That's why we got promoted last year. That's the truth. And we've got to have the same again this year. Now we've got to make sure we get there in the first instance, and then we've got to make sure we're just that nice clinical, nice contact, nice technique. Just put the ball in the goal. And that's not, it's easy to say it, harder to do in reality. It's something that we're aware of, and I'd say if we do that, then we're gonna win a lot more games. Now we'd like to do that starting tomorrow. You know, and that's, like I said, that's an area for improvement. We know that. It's unusual for us. I think we've always been sort of quite free scoring, but I don't think there's a crisis or anything like that. That's not. That's very drastic and dramatic. It's a point to improve. There's other points to improve. You know, looking back at the game on Saturday, there was numerous ones, I'd say. You know, some of the performances were tepid, insipid. You know, things like that. So it's not the only one, but it's one of the ones that we're looking to address as quickly as we can.
It's the same habit, isn't it? We've talked about this before. Winning is a habit, losing is a habit. One thing that you've got in your play at the moment is, which is a surprise, I'd imagine, is that you haven't come from behind this season to win a game. A concern there.
But again, we've highlighted that. It was mentioned again Saturday. It happened to us 3-4 years ago. 4 years ago, I think, 3 years ago, something like that. And I think the start of that was Blackpool coming from 2 down to draw 2-2 with Ollie Turton last minute. And then we were 1 down somewhere, we won 2-1, I think it was. Can't remember where. And we, you know, then you sort of over any sort of mental hurdle that may or may not be there. I don't think the players have thought like that before we said it to them in quite stark terms. But that's the truth. That's the reality. So there's no point trying to dress it up or ignore it. And we've told them that. And that's another area for improvement. You know, we've lost too many games this year by the odd goal where we've not deserved to. I don't think that's, you know, that could happen once, twice, 3 times maybe over 20 games. That's the maximum. It's happened in a far shorter time, and it's happened more than that. That's not bad luck or anything. That's areas to address, and that's, if we address that, you know, like I said, we'll be fine. The performances, like I said, by and large, 90% of the games have been there. Saturday, I think, was questionable on that front, but we're not. Like I said, I think if we start scoring more goals, that the performances when we play well, you know, should warrant, then they'll be reflective in the results as well.
Do you think you've seen a trend in the last few games where how teams are setting up against you, and you find it a little bit harder to break down the way they're doing, or how are you reading it?
Yes and no. I don't want to give too much away because trade secrets. Yes and no. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to say too much, Graham.
Okay, I just want to bring this into play about what happened at the end of the game, so we can bring it up today. At the end of the game, have you got any further updates on what you want to say first of all?
I've seen the incident again. I think I don't think either party, you know, our player, their member of staff, will be happy in their actions. You know, Perry spat on the floor. The lads took exception to it. Perry's took exception to being hurled abuse at close quarters. Neither, I would imagine, neither have been impressed by their actions. However, you know, it was all a bit of a storm in a teacup. You know, I don't think anything after that is worth of note. You know, Perry walks away, their lad walks away, or their lad walks to me actually and tells me exactly what's happened, but leaving large chunks out of it, you know, that he'd done. And it was, you know, I don't think there was an issue from their side, and there's not an issue from our side. We was in Michael and Russ's office afterwards, and there was no issues. So I think it was all done and dusted as quickly as it started, if you like.
Just to wrap it all up then, Dave, is that it? I know you don't reveal anything that goes on internally, but is that it as far as you're concerned? You've spoken to your player, you've said it was your captain, and you've named your captain. Is that done and dusted now?
Yeah, it's been dealt with internally, yeah. From my point of view, yeah.
I appreciate that. Let's just talk about Callum Ainley, which was not only a dreadful start for the football team on Saturday in the first 3 or 4 minutes, but what happened there with him?
Well, he's tried to flick the ball over the lad's head and he's pulled his hamstring. So he's going to be out for a while. So not good news. He'll have a scan this afternoon and we'll see how bad the damage is, but it's not looking good.
Well, Swindon are here next, and as you quite rightly pointed out, that is the one good positive. You're trying to build a team that can go into the top half of League One, and this is the first opportunity to have another go. You start with them on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a home game. I think we've more miles in the last month than Judith Chalmers. So we're at home. Swindon, new manager, reinvigorated. I think they were probably on the slide when Richie left with the culture at the club. Obviously, the new man's gone in and John's an experienced manager. He's obviously got a reaction from them. They have picked up better results since he's gone in. And he's got plenty of resources to work with in terms of good players. So it'll be a tough game.
But the thing is, you've already played against him. He'll have his ideas now because he was obviously the manager of Wigan when you beat them.
Yeah. So there's a positive from his point of view there, and he'll have seen what we did when we come up against his team. Different team, but he'll know exactly what we were trying to do. So, like I say, it just makes that might make it a little bit harder, but not. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's 11 players against 11 players, and we'll hopefully win the game.